Good morning. Let's take a look at yesterday. Ireland dominated the coupon. Any surprises? Well, again, 1.73 favourite, losing 0-2 to a red-carded side. That was a little unforeseen. I wouldn't have argued about getting involved here, but perhaps we need to bail out late on, particularly Ken Barlow getting yellow carded, probably for being Ken Barlow. So nothing much doing from the favourites yesterday. 1.73 favourite. Cork City would have been a standout, but they just scraped through with a 1-0 and a 62nd minute 1-0 at that. Athlone helped by a red card. Did it come early or did it come late? Well, it came after the match was concluded. So much of a muchness. Kerry and Bray, yet another score draw. I think we saw score draws and head-to-heads, did we? We certainly had both teams scoring, and I would have favoured Bray here. So any Kerry lead, I think I would have taken on, particularly a 2-0 lead and a penalty. So that would have been a profitable play, I think, given Kerry's record. Yes, they're in pretty decent home form. 3 wins and a draw recently at home. But they are gettable, certainly with their reputation at 2-0 up. You've got nothing to lose at 2-0 up. You're going to have a low risk entry point. UCD, disappointment for them. Did the red card cost them?
This market is not in play.
They got the equaliser and they got red carded 72nd minute. So arguably we could have had a play there if we fancied UCD, who were the form side. I think that was it yesterday with the football. Tennis-wise, just the one match, I think. 2 matches, yes. Alcaraz got through eventually, but Daniil Medvedev did win the first set. I would have preferred Alcaraz to have gone into a 2-0 lead rather than a 2-1 lead, but arguable we could have laid Alcaraz leading 2-1 here, because Medvedev did take another world top 5 player into 5 sets. Novak Djokovic, well, impressive, I must say, because this Musetti himself has been impressive. Yes, second set, tiebreaker. I would have taken on Novak Djokovic leading 2-0 as well here. Very minuscule odds. And we know we've got a pretty solid player in Musetti on our side. Only really getting broken the twice.
This market has been suspended.
In each case. Just broken once there. And broken once there. That's all he needs. That's all Novak needs. That single break and then hold serve. Musetti, well, he did make Novak work. You've got 30-30, 30-30. Well, not so here. 15-30. Petering out a little, back onto pressurising the Djokovic serve. And look at this. He staved off all of those to have another battle and indeed get a break point, Musetti. This is what I'm talking about with this tennis. It's amazing, isn't it? Just that single point. It's like the film Sliding Doors. That break point comes in. We're off on a different tangent then. We're off to 5-5 and the possibility of Musetti winning that set. But Novak Djokovic stays in, gets the advantage and turns that into a match point. That could have been a completely different story, couldn't it? That's just what we're working with tennis. We've seen it many times before. Our fortunes are, well, in the balance if our player gets the break point and doesn't convert versus if our player gets the break point and does convert. Looking on to today, and it's, I think, largely Norwegian football. So I'll just take you through the angles. Big gap in form for Molde. Their 3 losses have come against 13th and lower. This is 5th against 3rd. Fredrikstad's only home loss came against 1st. So this is going to be competitive, I think. Mulder have scored 2+ goals in the last 7 matches. That's something to take home, particularly if Fred score first. Can we trust the 2-goal habit for Mulder? I'll be finding out at 4 o'clock because we've got Scotland as well today. So let me take you there first because I'm not going to be researching it. Scottish League Cup. Welcome. Getting back into the 3 o'clock habit. Lots of familiar names. St Johnstone, Hibernian. Lots of SPL sides out today as well. I don't know if we've got the Old Firm out. No, we haven't. Aberdeen, for example, Ross County, Wraith Rovers. So we've got lots of familiar names. Hopefully, I think they'll be competitive today because they've been starved of competitive football. This, for example, is pretty much a pre-season. So I'll be watching these with interest at 3 o'clock, particularly the odds-on favourites, which I star like this. And you'll see that once August begins. We've got a specific routine we use, particularly in the live chat. So I'll be following that with interest, not researching at all. Absolutely pointless to research. But let's go back to Norway. Lillestrøm a favourite, playing 6 today and have 100% defeats against the top 7. That's not good form, is it? Stroms themselves are unbeaten against 7th and lower and play 9th today. So I don't understand the markets inserting Lillestrøm as favourite. I don't understand that. Odd against HamKam. Both sides have only 3 wins, which makes them unreliable. So teams with lacking trust. HamKam are unbeaten against 9th and lower. Enough to expect them not to lose, perhaps. They're playing 13th today. Bodo Glimt, as reliable as they come. Famous last words, of course. All wins away, bar a loss. 3 consecutive wins. Bodo Glimt clearly the form team. Both teams are scoring in Sandefjord's matches. So we might see Sandefjord scoring. I would welcome a Sandefjord opening goal because I think they are layable if leading. Bodo Glimt do score a lot second half. 7 out of 9 goals scored. 13 out of 17 goals scored away have come second half of Bodo Glimt. Do expect of them today. Viking. Kristiansund are highly likely to concede 2 goals today, and that fits in with a 1.28 quote. 8 over 2.5 goal matches in the last 9 for Viking. So they're going to score, highly likely to score 2 or 3 today. Both teams have scored in the last 6 for Kristiansund. So we could be looking at a 2-1, 3-1 scoreline if that pattern continues. And 3-1, of course, fits in with a 1.28 quote. Brann 1.22. Likely to keep Haugesund to a single goal, which is a really good foundation to work off. Continue their solid winning run. All home wins against 7th and lower. And they're playing one of those today. Haugesund have beaten all top 6. Second against 14th today. Tromsø against KFUM Oslo. Don't like the form lines or lack thereof. You might want to just grab that draw angle. No draw in 8 at home. Expect second half goals as well. So neutral match, that one. Mjølby and Malmo. It's a top 3 clash. So you can't readily discount Mjølby. They did lose to second at home. But they're pretty good. But Malmo are scoring 2+ goals. They have done in 6 of the last 7. They've only lost 1 match. They've scored in every single match. So we've got some good angles to work off. Malmo look reliable, but they are playing top 3. So it could be tighter than the odds suggest. Sirius and Gaius, don't fancy that. Messy form lines there as well. So we've got the Scottish football today, which is welcome. I'll be about for 3 o'clock. It'll be good to get the in-play stats working again. Get that in-play stats feed, which you'll get used to over the new season. We need it for league football. And it's going to come in very handy indeed at 3 o'clock today. Tennis-wise, better enjoyed really. Krejcikova and Paulini, again, look at that 1.75 now, suggesting a 3-setter here. A bit of a shock really to see Krejcikova here, 32nd in the world, beating some top players. But this Paulini has stood out throughout. She's beaten some really solid yardsticks as well, when not fancied, which is always a good sign. Madison Keys was a walkover. I think Navarro 17th in the world. So beating some really well-ranked players. 37th, Donna Vekic has had a good season, or a good Wimbledon. Andreescu, good yardstick as well. Despite her ranking, she's been competitive in the run-up to Wimbledon. So this is going to be fascinating. You'd argue to take on a Krejcikova lead, even though she did beat Ostapenko in 2 clear sets, which is not what you want. But I would take her on if she led. And that's about it, really. So football, 3 o'clock today, on Telegram only. And it will, thankfully, fit in nicely with the vast majority of these matches as well. So I hope to see you on Telegram a bit later. But just a reminder again of coming attractions in August. It's a very exciting time. Here's how the season will progress. For me, at least, I won't be doing any initial research of these matches, apart from to highlight for you newly promoted teams and newly relegated teams. We've got no form lines to work off. That's how I work with my research. So the first month or so, it's going to be a little quiet research-wise. We'll get to know our teams. As we get into September, we'll start getting a couple of matches under our belt. The real research proper will begin, I would suspect, towards the middle to end of September. Then we'll be working into October, and the form lines will start getting embedded about the start of November. We're going to have plenty of matches under our belts come November time, and that's actually when research starts becoming reliable. So let's just see, we've got the Premier League coupon up for the upcoming year. I don't think we have. So we don't have the season up just yet for England. But once we do, let me show you last season. How many matches are played getting to about the 1st of November. That for me is a really good start point from research perspective. So as you can see, 1st of November, look how many matches have been played. Enough here, 4th of November, enough played for us to get a handle on the team. I think it's a good set of fixtures. That's about the right time to start researching. You could start seeing some real patterns, as you can see here. Man City, very hard to beat at home against all comers. Away from home, a little more vulnerable, but they still have possibility of 2 goals in them at home, particularly when meeting newly promoted sides. So some interesting angles. That's how I will work. November will be the key starting point for accurate research. We'll be lacking a bit prior to that. So I'll see you throughout the day today. 3 o'clock start for the football. Let's see whether the Scots can offer us anything. I think we might see some plays today because, as I said, this is pre-season effectively. Inverness, Cally Thistle, Dundee FC, St Johnstone, lots of strong favourites. Morton, Hibs, Livingston, and lots of SPL, Scottish Premier League teams as well. Nothing else much doing, so that's going to be the main focus today. Tomorrow, well, we'll have a quick look before I depart. England against Spain, of course. Now, don't fear, I've got my lucky England socks I'll be wearing tomorrow. So it's almost assured that we're going to be winning. I wonder if there'll be anything else, because the main focus will be on the Euro final. It's not a good day to advertise your league's football. So probably, well, Finnish Veikkausliiga tomorrow. Doubtless we'll have Norway following. Just the lower tiers in Norway and Sweden as well, the Allsvenskan. Djurgården have been in really good form, really stand out here. That could be one to rely upon. So I'll see you at 3 o'clock today. The tennis is likely not to interest me anymore, but I would consider taking on Krejcikova first set lead. I think Paolini will give us a good run for our money if she loses the first set. Have a great day, and footballtradingprofits.com members, I'll see you on Telegram from 3 p.m. onwards.